Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are diving into a story that has stirred quite a bit of conversation along the South Coast, the recent service delivery protests in Umzumbe, led by the uMkhonto Wesizwe Party, or MKP. If you think politics here is only about speeches in parliament or press releases, think again. This story has everything from marches and placards to public outrage and demands that go straight to the core of local governance. So, settle in, grab a cup of tea, and let's unpack what is happening in Umzumbe.
Are coming down this march that started at the old Potco depot, the bus depot in Marabastad, and they have mobilized. It seems like the crowd has significantly increased from what we saw this morning. Of course, they've got a string of points that they have highlighted that they feel is enough motivation for the president to step down as they make their way to the Union buildings. I'm now joined by the United Civic Movement spokesperson, and that is Mr. Mtwalume. You can tell us perhaps better, in short, highlighting the reasons that have brought this gathering and why you have united, going to the Union buildings to call for the president to step down.
The reason we're having this march is basically to force the president, to force Cyril Ramaphosa to resign as president of the country and head of state.
Running water has reportedly been absent for more than 3 years. This is not just an inconvenience, it is a public health risk and a daily struggle for families who rely on water for cooking, cleaning, and hygiene. Water, however, is only part of the problem. Roads across Umzumbe are in a state of disrepair. In Ward 1, a road project worth R12 million remains unfinished. Residents are left questioning how such significant funds could vanish without producing usable infrastructure. On the Mfundo road project, workers have not been paid since January, leaving communities frustrated and projects stalled. Other wards, including 4, 5, 7, 8, 14, 15, 18, 19, and 20, also face damaged roads that hinder emergency services, school transport, and everyday travel. Ward 11 has an incomplete road through Mtwalume, and without a bridge, residents can become isolated during heavy rains. In Ward 13, over R12 million was spent on Morrison Stadium, which still is not finished. Millions are invested, yet residents must navigate potholes and incomplete structures as if life was some kind of obstacle course. The MKP also raised concerns over municipal employment practices. In Wards 5, 9, 10, 14, and 17, employment and training opportunities are allegedly reserved for politically connected individuals. Outsiders, meanwhile, are reportedly employed for projects in Ward 3, leaving local residents frustrated and feeling ignored. Even appointments under the expanded public works program have been called into question, with claims that proper community consultation did not take place. For residents, it often feels like the system is working, but not for them. Gender-based violence, or GBV, was another critical issue highlighted during the march. MKP member Thobile Fangula stressed the urgent need for a dedicated GBV task team and stronger public awareness campaigns. GBV is a nationwide concern, and its inclusion in the protest highlights that local governance issues are not limited to infrastructure, they touch on safety, dignity, and the well-being of the community. Housing was also on the agenda. Thelamusim Chunu, representing the Progressive Civics Congress, spoke about RDP housing projects in Wards 3, 8, 9, and 17 that are allegedly stagnant. Houses remain incomplete, and residents are left wondering when they might finally move into safe and adequate homes. Water, roads, housing, these are basic services that affect everyday life, and yet they remain inaccessible to many in Umzumbe. After the march, the MKP handed over a memorandum listing these grievances to the Umzumbe Municipality. They gave municipal leadership a 21-day deadline to respond. The municipal manager, Shaka Seal, accepted the memorandum and pledged to review the issues and respond appropriately. The ball is now in the municipality's court. Whether the response will be prompt and effective or delayed and perfunctory remains to be seen. The protest itself displayed a mix of frustration, determination, and community solidarity. Videos and photos show Zamani Nzama and Mfundo demanding answers, Sayabonga Mboli holding placards high, and residents like Smaiso Shabalala calling for water. There is a tangible sense of urgency, and the community is marching not only for themselves but for their neighbors and future generations. It is also notable that the MKP did not act in isolation. The Progressive Civics Congress supported the march, demonstrating that civic organizations and smaller political groups are stepping in where larger structures may have failed. This paints a picture of grassroots democracy, where citizens take to the streets to hold leaders accountable in the most direct way possible. Now, for a moment of levity, because if you do not laugh, you might cry. Imagine being a resident in Ward 7, without running water for 3 years. 3 years of planning life around water deliveries, rationing, and makeshift solutions, while millions are spent on unfinished roads and stadiums. It is as if someone ordered a fancy meal and received an empty plate. At least you can admire the presentation, right? At its core, this protest is about more than inconvenience. It is about accountability, fairness, and basic dignity. Water, roads, housing, employment, these are fundamental needs. The residents of Umzumbe are making it clear that the municipality cannot continue to ignore them. Looking ahead, the MKP has set a strict 21-day deadline. Will the municipality respond with concrete action, or will these grievances become another story of unfulfilled promises? Time will tell. But one thing is certain, residents are organized, vocal, and determined to hold leaders accountable in full view of the public. This story also serves as a reminder that local politics can be as important as national politics. When water stops flowing, roads crumble, and jobs or housing are distributed unfairly, the consequences are immediate and deeply personal. Sometimes, you need to take to the streets, placard in hand, to make sure your voice is heard. We want to hear from you. What is your experience with service delivery in your municipality? Are there projects left unfinished or promises ignored? Share your thoughts in the comments below, we read every one of them. While you are here, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more in-depth coverage of local and national political issues, and click the notification bell to stay updated. That wraps up our look at the MKP's protest in Umzumbe. From water crises and broken roads to housing delays and alleged politically biased employment, this story reminds us why civic engagement matters. Until next time, stay informed, stay active, and do not hesitate to stand up for your community. See you next time.